and I'm excited, very excited to have this coach on the call because I know her. I've known her for about 6 years. She's been a coach, but she started out as something called the modifier in Shanti's programs. But the modifier is really another word for a machine. Those of you who do not know who the machine is, please go back to some Shanti programs and see what she was doing, because she's really it. She's really the reason why we got through all those programs. But anyway, she's incredibly kind. She's incredibly graceful at what she does and very, very kind, even though she is the machine. She is a 10-star diamond coach, and she has, in the last 6 years, worked her business so hard. She's now part of the Legacy Club, which is a cumulative earnings of over $1 million. She's hit elite 5 times in a row, and she is from Salina, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, Tania Baron. Come on in. I know, right? Like these kids, they don't know. They don't know what it was like. The struggle was real.
Laughing back here. I'm glad my camera was off that point. I was actually laughing a lot. So thank you for the introduction.
I have known you a lot. And why don't you let everybody know a little bit about you and your beginnings with Beachbody as a coach?
Actually, I just did the math. So hi, everybody. So happy to be here. I had to quickly do the math, but I first started with Beachbody 16 years ago. I don't know where the time went. So 16 years ago was the first time I ever did a Beachbody program. And that was actually on the other side. And that was with Shanti's first program, Hip Hop Abs. And I was the modifier in that. So if you've done that program, we have worked out together with that prior to the machine, which was when we did Insanity. And then the modifier in T25. So I've actually been around Beachbody for quite some time, but as you heard Sandy say, I have been a coach for 6 years. So there were about 10 years that I didn't want to have anything to do with coaching. I really didn't know anything about coaching, to be honest. Even though I had a ton of friends that were successful in coaching, it was just never something that I thought was for me. I was very happy I'm extremely happy and honored to be part of the workout programs, as well as helping Shanti with his test groups get results. So I was always on that side, but there's nothing like going through a program from start to finish yourself. I would see people get results and I would feel so happy for them. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I cried watching people get results and change their lives. But when it happens to yourself, it is, I mean, something just goes off. And if this has happened to you, you know exactly what I'm saying, which is probably why you're on this call. It inspired you to become a coach. And what inspired me to finally, after 10 years, say yes to this coaching business is I gained 60 pounds when I got pregnant with my son. 60. And after my pregnancy, I did not just drop the weight. I did not start working out. I mean, I didn't do anything. I just was trying to sleep. I wasn't trying to work out. And I just thought my fitness days are over until Shanti said, hey, I'm doing a new program. It's called T25 and it's a 25-minute workout. And I want to test it on you because you just had a baby. I was like, well, there's no need to test it. It's not going to work. It's 25 minutes. There's no way. But I did it. I started it, and on the first day, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't get through more than 10 seconds without collapsing. But I did it, and I did the entire program from start to finish. I finally decided I'm going to drink Shakeology every single day. I'm going to follow the meal plan, and I'm going to do this darn program. Especially, I only had that much time. My son was a baby, so it was perfect nap time. I could push play and do the program, and something happened. It wasn't even about the weight loss. It was like, I felt like me again. I felt like the machine again. The mama machine is what I like to call myself. And it completely changed my life. And I knew then it was like, if I can help people feel exactly the way I feel, I mean, it's like the possibilities are endless. And at that same time, I was faced with losing 50% of my income due to budget cutbacks at my job. And so I was like panicked, and a little backstory to that panic is about 10 years ago, I was bankrupt, broke, bankrupt. So I've had a lot of struggles that, it took me a long time to share publicly, but becoming a coach has allowed me to really just be transparent, share my story, and help more people. So at that time where I was faced with, I was going to be losing 50% of my income. I just got incredible results with T25. A friend of mine said, you should become a coach. And I was like, yeah, no, that's not for me. That's just a bunch of creepy salespeople in a cult, right? Well, anyway, I was like, I got to do something. I'm desperate. I got to do something. And I do know that these workouts work, like for real. I know, because they worked for me. And so August 1st, 2013, I signed up to be a coach.
T25 is what a lot of people who are watching right now, like it was their first program that they did from start to finish, 25 minutes, no big deal. Yeah, but it worked. I also thought in your story how interesting it was that we judge things before we even give them a try, and it's like you immediately say, that's not for me, that won't work for me, but you haven't even tried it yet. So that's an interesting story. And I want to share also on this call, if anybody is new to the wake up call, always listen to how people share their story, their Beachbody story, their humble beginnings, how they got started. So thank you for sharing that, Tania. Now, you know a thing or two about product launches. You've been around long enough, and that we have a lot going on right now, which is great. It's so hopeful for everybody, but sometimes people find it hard to navigate when there's more than one program that's on the table right now. So can you share your philosophy about how you handle all of it at once?
Absolutely. So I know how it feels when, well, there's like two things that happens, I think, when new products are announced is we get really excited because why not, right? It's so exciting to have a new program, more tools to help people, something new for us to try. But then the other side of it is that sense of of being overwhelmed by too many things happening at once. And we start to chase all of the shiny objects because it's easy to do that. I know I have done that before. And you lose focus. And so your attention has gone, you're 100% all in your current program, your current challenge group, you're rocking and rolling. All of a sudden, something new comes in and you're like, whoop, and you lose focus and you go chase that object. And then a few weeks later, something else. And then you're over here. And then you're over here. And then you're looking at yourself and you're like, whoa, I'm completely lost. I don't have a plan. I don't know what I'm doing. And now I just feel frantic. And I've completely lost my focus. So I've been there, and I'm sure many of you have felt the same way. And so I had to sit myself down and go, okay, how am I going to handle this for myself with all these multiple programs? I can't do 3 programs at once. I can't be everywhere at once. I don't want to run multiple challenge groups. I don't want to drop what I'm doing. I don't want to stop my challenge group from what they're currently doing just to go do the next thing and the next thing. So I had to sit myself down and say, okay, Tania, here's what you need to do. You don't need to chase all the shiny objects. What I can do is promote it and start talking about it without losing focus of what I'm currently doing. So I always show up showing what I'm doing today, what my program is, what my challenge group is doing, but also coming up is this next program. Who's wanting to do that with me now? So I'll get into those tips in just a moment, but really I need to do that for me. And I also want my team to know that, because one, I want everyone to just breathe, relax. The programs aren't going anywhere. Your customers aren't going anywhere. There's always this sense of urgency that I have to jump now, or else I'm going to miss that mark. And you won't. Right? If you have proper preparation, planning, and a good calendar, you can do all of those things. You can promote a new program, talk about it, but still stay focused on where you're at. And I think that's what happens to a lot of us coaches when we're running our business. It's like we don't know what to promote. We've got all these new products, but I just started Morning Meltdown 100. Yikes, we're not even going to be finished till November, but then 6 weeks of the work comes out. How am I going to finish this and then do this? And I just say to my team, just breathe. We're going to finish what we started, and then we'll move on to the next one. And that's fine. And then for me, I think that that creates not only focus in your business, but trust and credibility, and that you don't always sound like the next program is the next best thing. Because to me, I don't find any honesty or authenticity in that. And that's not what you want to portray. And that's not what this business is about. We have a lot of programs and a lot of products, which is awesome because there are billions of people that have all different preferences of what they want to do. So why not give as much as we can? I have the biggest catalog, but us as coaches running our business, we don't have to, promote every single one and do every single one. We can just live in what we are currently doing, focus, and then move on to the next. So that is my philosophy on how to handle what we feel are things thrown at us at once, overlapping product launches. And what's really exciting is we have so many products coming out. We have 6 weeks of the work. We have our bar program. We have our peppermint mocha Shakeology. We have so many things coming. So for me, what I like to do first is get out my calendar. Now I have to preface this by saying I'm super organized, but that's just me. I like to call myself type Asian. That's just me. But you don't have to be super organized to be successful in this business. I have tons of friends who are not that organized and are very successful, but you do need to have a plan. And that is my very first tip for you guys. So I get out my calendar, I write down what the launch date for the new program is going to be, just so I know. And then I choose when I want to start a new challenge group with the new program. I know oftentimes there's a network-wide launch date where everybody starts at the same time, and that's awesome. But if that doesn't work for you or for your team or your challengers, then that's fine. It's your business. You create the start date that you want. So live in the program that you're doing, complete it, and then set that start date. So now that you know that start date, I go back 3 weeks from that start date, and that is when I start to do what we call breadcrumb posts, which is basically you start to do little tiny snippet teasers of what's coming up next. But be careful not to only focus on that new program, because you're currently doing a program right now. And you're showing that every single day in your stories anyway, but you can still promote it and do those breadcrumb posts. So an example of a breadcrumb post could be, you can take a little image of the new workout coming out. So let's just use 6 weeks of the work since that's what's coming out. In my stories, in my Instagram stories, I show a little picture of it, and then I put text overlay on it, and I say, who's excited to do a brand new workout with me? And then I either will do a DM or a poll option so that I can have people clicking. People love polls. I think polls work really great. And if you do a poll, another tip that I do, which I find much more success with this, is when you don't allow them to say no. I say yes, or I need more information. So they're both yeses in a sense. And then you can go back and private message them from that. So 3 weeks before, I do some kind of little teaser post like that. Another thing I'll do is I'll go into the back office and find any of the promo videos that Beachbody has created for us. They've done the work for us. And I share a little bit of that. I mean, I'll just take my phone and video it. Like I'll play it on my computer screen and video it, put it in my stories, do a little, just like 10-second clip and say, here's the new program, or maybe I'll cover it with something to make them, tap it and leave me a message. That little curiosity marketing. And I say, who's excited for this program, or who wants, here's one I did. Who wants to work out? Oh, no, I'm excited to work out with my new trainer. And I shared a video clip that Amwala had shown on his. So I just shared it to my stories just to give a little, sneak peek breadcrumb. So that's 3 weeks before. And then 2 weeks before my challenge group start date is when I start to do my heavy invites. I go back to all those people that showed interest. If you are someone who collects information on a form, I do that. You can go back to everybody who's filled out your form and start inviting them to your group. And what's really awesome right now, which Kevin mentioned, is the $10 offer. So how awesome is it that we can focus on getting people started this month, especially to get them ready for an intense workout like that, with a challenge pack, and then letting them know that they can do the next work out with you for only $10. So that's awesome. We have such awesome tools to get people ready. So 2 weeks before we do the invites, a week before I open the group, I get people going. I start answering questions, getting them started, making sure they navigate through the app and do their day one stats and all that stuff. And then the weekend before, since we are all digital, I do a last call. So they literally can join up until day one and start with you. So planning ahead will keep you focused, give you something to plan so that you don't feel so frantic when the new program comes out. It also allows you to stay focused on the program that you're doing. So that leads me to my second tip is live in the program you are doing. Remember when I said there's nothing like finishing a program from start to finish, getting through an entire program. There is nothing like that graduation day. And I know how that feels after so many programs, that it's important to show your challengers how important it is to finish a program. So often people give up after a week or two because they're not feeling results. Well, nothing works after a week or two, right? You got to stick with it and finish the program as it was designed from start to finish. So we need to lead by example and live in that current program that we're doing. And I know I may sound like a broken record with that, but I can't tell you how many times I've seen people chase the shiny object and completely jump ship from what they're doing. And their challengers are like, whoa, where'd my coach go? Or they went on to do something different. And you're on to the next program and just trying to chase that next shiny thing. So live in the program that you're doing. Super important. Help your challengers get results. Then take those people on to the next challenge as you're inviting new people in. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing what you can do, now this is something that you can do whether it's an overlapping product launch or just or not overlapping, but is to create some sort of hybrid calendar. So for example, for 6 weeks of the work, we know that it's going to be super intense. So maybe it's not the best program for someone to start when they're just starting. However, you can get them ready now, especially with the promo that we have to get a challenge pack and get the work for only $10 for 6 weeks of the work. So you can get them going on a 3-week calendar. Sean Week, we've got Lift 4, we've got Insanity Max 30, we've got 21 Day Fix Extreme. We've got a lot of programs to help people get ready. So create some sort of hybrid calendar and get people ready to do the 6 weeks of the hard work. So I know we're not focusing here on how to handle a product launch, but more how to navigate through our business with multiple product launches. But you do need to have some sort of product launch strategy. So that's what I was talking about by having your calendar out and knowing when. But at the same time, you can stay focused on where you're at by still promoting. You could do a little teaser workout, or sometimes Beachbody gives you a preview workout. So you can promote, but still stay in what you're doing.
You know what? You make it sound very, very simple. And there's a few questions that came up on Facebook. So I want to take you through those. First of all, do you use a paper calendar? What kind of calendar are you doing to keep everything straight?
So I actually use iCal in my, just because I like digital, but it works the same as a written calendar because it's just a 30-day calendar. And I put everything in an iCal. And because I'm super organized, I color code everything so that I know, and I'll block off. For example, I'm starting 6 weeks of the work on October 7th. So I have blocked off the 6 weeks in a color code. My challenge groups are all color coded yellow. And that's what it looks like on my calendar. So that's, yeah, I use a digital one, but you could use a paper one too.
Okay. And I guess the other question is, if someone is already in a program, but then 6 weeks of the work comes in and they plan that, you're saying don't jump ship, finish what you started, and then
Absolutely.
focus on the next program. So explain that again.
Absolutely. So I never stop a program in the middle. Like I want to finish before I go on to the next thing. So 6 weeks of the hard work comes out for VIP sales September 30th, and it'll also be available that day to start doing. But I have a group that will still be doing another workout at that time. So we are going to completely finish before we start a week later on October 7th. And, you know, for example, we talked about Morning Meltdown 100. For those people who are doing the full 100, they're not done till the end of November. So you can start your group after that. Picking a start date doesn't mean you can't start selling it now. You can start selling it now, but start it later. That's what I meant.
Great advice. Great advice. Now I'm thinking of when there is not a launch, like when we, you know, people are thinking, what do I do when there isn't a launch coming?
So what I do on non-launch months is I like to run an open challenge. So sometimes, depending on how many weeks are in between the next program, or I know my next when I want to run my next challenge group, I'll pick a program that'll fit exactly in. So for example, there are 21 days between now and the next program. So I decided to run a 21-day fix group starting next week, or 21-day fix real time or extreme. Other times I'll run just a 30-day virtual boot camp and say, you pick the program, but we're all going to start on this date, and we're all going to check in with our Shakeology and our daily workouts in the tracker app. So open program works great, because to me, it's not even so much what program they're doing, is that they're showing up every day and doing something. To me, that's more important. And then when a new product comes out, of course, it's really fun to all do it all together. But on the non-product launch months, I just like to get people moving and get them into my monthly virtual boot camp. So I do run them monthly.
Awesome. You know what? I threw a few questions at you that we didn't plan, but you know what? You know what you're doing, and you made it sound really doable for everybody. So I thank you so much. Now we're at the close of the call, and I'd like to talk to you about personal fulfillment and what coaching has meant to you. So you could take it.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I won't cry, but I do feel like that inside. I mean, I'm so glad I joined that crazy cult of salespeople right now. I'm just kidding. But man, my life has changed in so many ways. And I know Miss Sandy mentioned the Legacy Club and all those things. But honestly, the number one thing is I found me again. I found a confidence in me. I never knew that I could run a business. And so after 2 years of running this business on the side and working full time at my job, I was able to retire my job and become a full-time coach. That was huge, huge, huge for me and my family. We moved to Dallas and we built a home. Income disclaimer, Beachbody doesn't guarantee any level of income or success, but we built a home. And it's not even so much that we built a home. You guys, I'm 45, almost 46, and this is the first house I've ever lived in. I grew up with a single mother as a latchkey kid. I was babysitting myself at 6 years old. Sounds so crazy. I shared a 1-bedroom apartment with my mom growing up. So the only house I actually lived in was the one we rented while this one was being built. And I know it's all possible because of this business and this community we have. So it's like 45 years old, I'm living in my first home. I'm able to be with my son whenever possible. I love to travel. If you follow me, you know that I'm somewhere every other week. And, but it really just has completely changed who I am. And I'm forever grateful for this company.
Tania, that story gets me so much. I tell you, it is really an incredible story, because the freedom and all that stuff like that comes with working hard, really, in any job. You work for your freedom, but this has given you an opportunity to really get some dreams that you had wanted your whole life. So thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate you being on the call. Thank you. And I'll talk to you later. Oh, and Tania, it's okay if you went, but questions that have come up on Facebook, maybe you can go answer them. There's some specific questions about challenge groups. So you guys, I took down notes because I loved what she said about all these product launches. Remember, It's not a job where you want to panic. Being a coach is not having this sense of urgency so much that it causes anxiety. Focus and plan for what's coming ahead so that you're not ambushed, that you're not sideswiped, that you don't know what's going on. Jump into the Coach Online office. Understand what our promotions are for the month. Take a look, and whatever you do, don't jump ship. So finish what you started, right? That's what I put, is finish what you started as an affirmation today. But the other thing that I wanted to say, this was my first one, was don't wait. So have a sense of urgency, but don't panic. But also don't wait to get started. Jump on it. Don't jump off the ship, jump on it so that you are finishing what you started. A lot of great affirmations today, a lot of great quotes, but go ahead and make this a week that really, really counts. We'll see you next week, everybody. Bye-bye.